I'm going to call the Honourable Phil Goff.
Thank you very much, Mr Chairman. Mr Chairman, I want to start off by asking the Minister again to clarify when she first knew that there was a problem and started working on it. Because she said in answer to the House this afternoon to a question from Jacinda Ardern, and again when she took the call, that nothing was being done or nothing was being considered about until February of this year. Now, I have on my computer screen here, sir, Stuff News dated the 25th of January 2015, and the former minister, this minister's predecessor, somebody called Judith Collins, said that this was an issue that the government had been aware of and that was intending to make changes on, and they were looking at a monitoring system in order to protect the community. Now, isn't it the truth, Minister, that the government has been aware of this for years? In the last year, the government was aware that there was 5 times the number of deported people coming back to New Zealand. That's new, the quantum is new, but the issue is rather older than that. And again, I ask the Minister, what is there in this bill that could not, to achieve the purpose set out in Clause 1, what is there in this bill that could not have seen this bill introduced years ago, if not months ago? Because one of the problems I have, Mr Chairman, and it's a genuine problem, is that we know the purpose of this bill is to try to ensure the safety of the community, but how do we know the bill will achieve that purpose? Because you know, Mr Chairman, that what would normally happen, everybody in the House knows, Mr Chairman, that what would normally happen is that this bill would go to a select committee. And we would hear from people with specialist knowledge in this area. We would hear from the experts. We would hear from the people that have been dealing with offenders with these sort of criminal records in the past, and we could have subjected this bill to particular scrutiny. If only it had been introduced months ago or years ago when the government knew that this problem was pending. So I want to know why it is that we are rushing this bill through the House without public input, without expert input, without proper consideration, so that we know we can achieve the purpose of it. Why has the Minister left this to the 13th hour? I want to come back to the regulatory impact statement, because this gets to the heart of the purpose that Clause 1 talks about, or Clause 3 talks about in this bill, and it says returning offenders pose a risk to public safety. And it goes back to 2013, which again, raises questions about how long this minister has been aware of it. And it says that since 2013, 70% of returning offenders have been convicted of serious offences. 30% of assault, Mr Chairman. 20% armed robbery or burglary. 15% rape or sexual assault. 5% murder and manslaughter. And then the regulatory impact statement goes on to say that over a third of these returning offenders had re-offended within 12 months. A third, 35% actually, and 48%, nearly half, had re-offended within 2 years. So here we have the regulatory impact statement setting out the purpose of this bill is to achieve safety. There is a real risk to safety. Some of these people have offended seriously. Nearly half of them will re-offend again within 2 years, and yet the government sat in its chuff and did nothing. And I think the House is owed an explanation of why the government didn't act. Why are we debating this after 157 new offenders have come here since May? And I want to know from the Minister, what are the offences that those 157 have committed? Are they serious offenders? Are they likely recidivist offenders? What level of risk do they pose to the community? And what has this Minister and this Prime Minister done to protect New Zealand? Because this Prime Minister got up on his hind legs and said the opposition was doing nothing to protect us against rapists and murderers. Actually, the opposition doesn't have power, Mr Chairman. The government has power, and for 12 months, this government, this Prime Minister and that Minister have done precisely nothing.
Andrew, calling.